Arsenal 3, Bayern Munich 1. An outstanding performance and result from Arsenal. A real statement victory led by Declan Rice, who once again was magnificent. So much to talk about. This is the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal. This is Rab, your host as always. How are you? How is everyone feeling? I hope, like me, you are buzzing after that performance we've just seen this morning. Well, this morning, Melbourne time, Australian time, at the Emirates Stadium, 3-1 to Arsenal, the final score. And I think we actually deserved more. I really do feel that. I know Neuer had that reckless moment where he charged out of his to concede the third to Martinelli. I understand that. I actually think he had an excellent game overall. He kept Arsenal out a number of times from corners, close range shots, his reactions, his reflexes. If not for him, I really do think that there was 3 or 4 more goals in this, and Arsenal would have deserved that. I think we were that dominant. There was a marked difference in that second half. Whatever Mikel Arteta said at halftime, whatever message was sent to the players, amongst the players, when they returned for that second half, it was outstanding. It is about as comprehensive a 45 minutes that I have seen in a long, long time from Arsenal. Just an outstanding team collective. I look at this team and I think that there's a level of excellence that I really can't put into words. It's no matter who the opponent is, who comes in, who comes out, the system, the tempo, the level of precision involved in Arsenal's play, build-up, press, the way we are coached. It's just all next level. It's very, very high caliber stuff. Arsenal have been building towards this with the way we've invested in our squad, the caliber of players that we've recruited, the level of coaching, all of that good stuff. And then it gets to a point where it culminates. That's where I'm going with this. It culminates and you see it on a consistent basis. I was so impressed. That's where I'm going with all this. So I've got to apologize. I'm a bit scattered this morning. This is a post-match reaction. Literally the final whistle was about 15 minutes ago. So I've got some raw reactions and raw thoughts that I'm just going to try and get out in no particular order. Please bear with me. I look at this team and I just think that no matter the occasion, that we are prepared, that there's a level of preparation involved from Arsenal. It's a testament to the players. It's a testament to the coaches. We really deserved this victory. This is a real statement win. Maybe I'm overusing that term because I seem to be saying it a lot lately. It just seems that we are repeatedly sending out statements. I think a lot of people have noticed and are continuing to notice. And maybe a few teams, opposition fans and whatnot, and few journalists may have been earmarked this match to see, okay, we know Arsenal are good and they've had an excellent win in the North London derby on the weekend. If you can even call it a derby, that was men versus boys stuff. But they would have circled this match. Bayern Munich coming into town, and we know how good they are. We know the narrative. We all know what they've done to us in the past, the Harry Kane factor. We know all that stuff. And people would have nominated this match and think, okay, let's really see. Let's see how good are Arsenal at this stage. Because it's one thing to put away woeful teams like Spurs who just unbelievably inept. That was absolutely disgraceful, really. The more I watched that match, the more I think that, my goodness me, how bad they were. And yes, we've had some excellent results against Atletico Madrid. A lot of people would have noticed that. And then Slavia Praha, we're 3-0. Sure, that was, maybe the scoreline wasn't expected, but many would have thought that, yeah, that's a match that Arsenal should be maximising 3 points in. But this was the one. This is the one, like in this huge week that we've all known about, and I've spoken about it, home to Spurs, midweek Bayern, and then Chelsea on the weekend. Should we prioritise one over the other? Is the Chelsea match the more important one? Should we rotate more heavily for Bayern Munich? A draw would be acceptable given our position in the Champions League table, all that good stuff. But no, Arsenal don't have that mentality that they want to win. There's that ruthless edge. Arsenal have gone out there and answered more questions. Whoever would have, circled this match and thinking, okay, this is a real test of Arsenal's mettle, you've got your answer. You've got your answers. And the question that I have, that I'm pondering walking away from this match, knowing that it's only in November, knowing that it's still the group stage or what league stage, whatever they call it, is can Arsenal sustain this? It's just the end of November. We're about to tick into December, a very hectic schedule upcoming. It always is during the festive season. There's matches 2-3 times a week. I mean, it's already started. I've already referenced there's 3 big matches this week, and then it continues next week because there's Brentford, I believe, on the Wednesday night. I think it's a home match against Brentford, which I'll talk about another time. But it's already started. That's what I'm saying. That this unrelenting schedule, we're going to have to sustain this. Can we come through this period of time, maximizing points in the Champions League and the Premier League? Can we get players back into the squad? I'll come to Trossard in a moment because that's unfortunately that didn't look good. It looked like a muscle injury to me. Was he clutching his thigh or his hamstring? Can't quite remember, but you'd imagine that keeps him out of Chelsea at a minimum. I would have thought. I haven't seen any post-match quotes or anything, but can Arsenal sustain this? And I actually think, time will tell, of course, but I think we can. I think there's a level of mentality within the team that players who step in, step out, they know the standards, they know the level. And look at our bench tonight. All of a sudden, the last 2 matches, look at the additions we've been able to put back into the bench. Madueke and Martinelli on the weekend. Martinelli was an unused substitute. Both of them were used today and both of them scored. Odegaard is back in now. So we're going to start to see these additions bit by bit. Unfortunately, losing Trossard that's a blow, no matter how good the win still is and it remains, and it's still a blow because he's in outstanding form, and maybe it just speaks to the nature of Arsenal a bit lately. It seems to be the story that we have players in red hot form, and we're starting to get players back, but then we lose another one. It stings, doesn't it? It takes a little bit of the sting out of the tail. It's unfortunate for Trossard because he's really muscled his way into earning that left wing spot, that starting spot, absolutely deserved. He was immense on the weekend, and he's been in fantastic goal scoring form since he received that pay increase. So it's a big blow. It's a big blow. Is it potentially derailing for Arsenal's season? Well, this is the thing now. We've invested for that reason. We bought protection. We've protected ourselves from completely spiraling out of control, out of contention in the league and other competitions like we suffered last season. I think there was a unanimous collective decision at Arsenal from ownership all the way down that we can't let this happen again. We must invest. We must protect ourselves and protect our floor, so to speak, so we don't completely spiral out of the title race like we did last season. So we've seen the nature of the caliber of the players who stepped in. Madueke came in the first half, and then in the second half, we saw some substitutions who made an immediate impact. Calafiori straight on for Lewis Skelly, and I think it was almost his first exchange of play, was it? The Saka came off as well, which is a good sign, by the way, and that was a brave decision from Mikel to take Saka off with one eye on the weekend against Chelsea, knowing how much football Bukayo has played. And we've got the players now, so let's use them. So Madueke switches to the right, where he seems much more natural. And Calafiori comes on, plays a fantastic cross across to him, and Madueke tucks it in. He made that look easy, didn't he, on the bounce on the first-time volley? And his first goal for Arsenal, his first goal contribution. It's fantastic for him, absolutely fantastic. See what it meant to him. He saw in the raucous celebrations and the reception he received from the crowd. And see what it means. Huge, huge moment for him. So what I usually do, and I'm about 8 or 9 minutes in, and I haven't even touched on it yet, is this selection. So I'll start with that because I know many would have thought that we can make 4 or 5 changes in this match. But Mikel, he's not going to do that. I thought we'd see at least 2. I didn't get the actual combination correct though. So he's brought in Lewis Skelly to start at left back and Mosquera in for Hincapié. I actually thought it would be 2 full-back changes. I thought Lewis Skelly would play. That didn't take me by surprise. I thought this might have been a good time to start White and manage Timber's minutes. And I thought Hincapié was outstanding against Spurs on the weekend. And with his German experience in the Bundesliga at Leverkusen, I thought he would have played this one, knowing his opponents so well. But it is what it is. Like when I see the team sheet, when I see the lineup and I go through the names, and there's just fine. There's no real question marks for me. There's no cause for concern. There's a logic and a rationale to it all. I didn't think we're going to see changes in midfield for this one. I mean, you can't take Eza out, can you, after that incredible performance on the weekend? Odegaard's probably not fit to start just yet anyway. He will probably step up his minutes It remains to be seen if he starts against Chelsea on the weekend. Maybe that's coming too soon for him, but we'll find out. And you're not going to sit out Rice or Zubimendi for this one. They're like the premier sort of midfield combination in Europe at the moment. Really, you're not going to sit them down. And I don't think they want to sit down either. Like a match of this stature, the players want to play. They all want to train so well, train so hard, putting their hand up for a starting berth. And the front three effectively picks itself. Mikel Merino is just an absolute workhorse. I saw some stats quickly post-match before I got organised to record this. He covered the most distance on the pitch. He was everywhere, again, dropping deep and playing almost as a 10 at times, the way he can string together passes. And he just seems he's got time on the ball. He's patient. Similar to Eza, they make the simple things just look a bit more effortless than other players who may seem a bit rushed or maybe have more perceived pressure around them. But with Eza and Merino, it just looks like time's on their side. They're very, very graceful, elegant footballers to watch. I love watching them play. It was a very high-quality match, I must say. The two best teams in Europe on the table at the moment, and it really stood out in this match. It was just an excellent, excellent match to watch, a really even contest. I thought both teams gave as good as they got in that first half. Arsenal would be disappointed. I mean, every time you concede a goal, right, we'd be disappointed. And it was that first goal we've conceded in the Champions League. So, of course, we're gonna micro-analyze it. We'd be disappointed to concede that goal, even as good as it was. It was like side-splitting stuff. They completely cut us open. That cross-field pass, Lewis Skelly, who I did think struggled tonight. He struggled to match the tempo of the match. The ball from, was it Kimmich, I believe it was? The ball in behind him, behind over Lewis Skelly, was just precision. And Gnabry, first time to cut that ball across, and then it's nailed. It's just a nailed-on goal. It was much more than just a simple tapping. The young man Carl, who I was very, very impressed with, 17 years old, is he? Like just incredible. These are just boys. I mean, it really is remarkable the quality of youth players coming through now. Like I tip my hat just to perform at this stage on that level. He was excellent tonight. He gave us a torrid time. It was just immense effort. That's a name to watch, and I'll be paying much, much more closer attention to his career development from here, because he was excellent. It was a very high caliber goal, and that's kind of what it takes to score against Arsenal at the moment. It's just the nature of how we play and how good we otherwise are defensively. Like, just in no particular order, the goals we've conceded this year have really been kind of unique, out of the box. I mean, take that Richarlison goal on the weekend. Sure, those things are going to happen from time to time from the way we play, how high Raya is, but it still takes a hell of a finish to capitalize. Haaland, earlier in the season when we played Manchester City, to cut us open like that, like only he can do that. The Szoboszlai free kick. So of the goals Arsenal have conceded this season, what we've been able to do is really eliminate the, oh my God, how do we concede that type of goals? Sure, there are moments we should have done it better. That Sunderland late equaliser, Walter Marta's header against Gabriel against Newcastle. Yeah, sure, there's always those moments where you can question things, but every now and then these things happen. I mean, when you concede such low percentage style of goals, this is where I'm going with this point. I'd much rather this than just a few seasons ago when we just used to have wide open spaces, wide open expanses for the opposition to explore and play in, and we get punished to the maximum. So this is just one of those goals. It's like it was a little bit out of nowhere, even though the contest was even. We were the ones with more attacking threat. We had shots on goal. We had more attempts on target. And then Bayern, so soon after we scored, I should talk about the opening goal for a moment, of course, because just Bukayo Saka, his corner deliveries at times, they just cause absolute chaos for the opposition. Bayern Munich really couldn't handle our set pieces tonight, I must say, not just corners, but free kicks. Time and time again, we threatened. And if anything, we could perhaps be ruining some of the chances that we didn't take advantage of. Merino a few times from set pieces. There was one in particular where it looked like he was just about to close in and just head the ball. But on replay, it looked like some excellent defending from Bayern Munich centre-back, who just got in the way at times and just blocked him off his run, because he was about to knock that one in with his header from point-blank range. So Bayern Munich, they couldn't handle us. They couldn't handle us on set pieces. And this is the attacking threat Arsenal have. Like from open play, we can string together passes and score goals from set pieces. We've got all the answers. We've got avenues to goal. And it's glorious to watch, by the way. It is. It was a beautiful corner from Bukayo. Timber heads in, 1-0 to Arsenal on the balance of play. We deserved that. We were so close to making it 2-0. And on replay, I mean, I think Emirates, when he looks at this replay, he's going to be pretty annoyed with himself, especially after that goal-scoring display against Spurs on the weekend. 9 times out of 10, you'd expect him to bury that one. And I don't know what quite happened. Was he trying to just stroke it into the corner? Almost a pass shot, if you can call it that. Whereas if he just struck it with more assurance, I do think it's 2-0. And these are the margins now. Just a few moments later, we were mounting the pressure and we got split open. And it's 1-1. It so easily could have been 2-0 and it was 1-1. And you know what it reminded me of, actually? It was a very similar time and period of the match where 2 seasons ago, I've spoken about this a few times, so please bear with me for a moment. 2 seasons ago, when we were 1-0 ahead against Bayern Munich in that home league at the Emirates, it's very similar time slot to now, actually. It's around the 30-minute mark. We're just out of nowhere. We started to take our foot off the gas and we let them in at that time. It was commenced by, I think it was Sane, who had that blistering run down the right. QEO couldn't keep up with him, unfortunately. And bang, bang, the nerves set in. And we conceded again soon after with a moment of nerves between Gabriel and Raya coming out too high, some hesitation. And it was 2-1 at halftime when we were pressing for a second. It could have been 2-0 to Arsenal. So it really got me thinking of that. And I was watching very closely how are Arsenal going to react and out to the goal. And it was credit to the team. We didn't spiral. We didn't lose our composure. Sure, it stung. I mean, as you saw Arteta's reaction, he was furious. I said, I don't know if I said it first or it was my youngest son who's watching to the right of me, my 6-year-old, when we saw Arteta going mad on the sidelines. He said he needs to calm down. And I said, yeah, he does. I think he received a yellow card for that. In fact, both managers oddly received yellow cards in a bit of a quirky sort of stat. I don't know how often that happens in a match. But anyway, Arsenal responded really well, just to keep composure, not do anything silly. We went up the other end and we played our game, got to halftime 1-1. And whatever the conversation was, whether it was Mikel or the players or all of them together, there was a concerted effort in our second half to go out there and say, you know what, we're not having this. We're not accepting a draw. We're not happy with conceding that goal. We are going to go out there and we are going to give it everything in this 45 minutes. And boy, did they. That was just a glorious 45 minutes of football. I'm going to watch it again. I implore you, if you get the chance to watch that again, please do, because it was about a sustained, consistent 45 minutes that I've seen from Arsenal at this consistent level of excellence. And that's saying something, because we have strung together some beautiful matches, some beautiful patches of football. And even just this season, of course, the entire match against Spurs was outstanding. I believe our closing 25, 30 minutes against Newcastle was outstanding, especially when Odegaard came on. There was about 20, 25 minutes in the second half against Sunderland where we were 1-0 down and went 2-0 up, 2-1 up, pardon me, which was just brilliant. But this was this was brilliant. This was peak Arsenal. About as good as we played since the opening, in that second leg, the opening 20 minutes against PSG in Paris. We were outstanding. And this is Arsenal. This is the level of Arsenal excellence. I'm here for it. I'm so proud of the players. It's a very special time to follow Arsenal. There's something beautiful being created, happening right in front of us. And I am here for every single minute. I'm absolutely loving this. If you're watching on video, yes, I'm smiling ear to ear because this is what I've been waiting for. And I can see it. I've seen the building blocks over the last few seasons. And now it's coming together like a beautiful Premier League Lego set trophy. It's just coming together beautifully, brick by brick. And I'm here for it. So so that second half now. So onto the goals. We had I've already covered a number of chances. Point blank range. There was one amazing run from Declan. He charged all the way in. The engine on this man is unbelievable. That's why they call him the horse. They couldn't keep up with him. Bayern could not keep up with him. The way his running power. and he got in, and what a save from Neuer. Unbelievable. I was off the couch. I was already half celebrating. So maybe you can blame me. Please, actually, you know what, Declan, if he's listening to this, which I highly doubt he is, I'll take the blame from that one because I was basically celebrating, and it's grazed the studs of Neuer. He's kept it out. Amazing save, amazing reflexes. Hats off to him. And somehow we didn't score. We didn't score in that moment, but sensed it was coming. Lewis Skelly, I don't go too hard on individual players, so I'm not going to do that. I just think he struggled, and this is where now Arsenal are in a bit of a tricky situation here, and us as fans, we need to just give some grace to this and understand this, that it's one thing to have such an outstanding squad and outstanding squad options as we do. Of course we do. It's another thing though when you've got rhythm of players. You've got players playing consistently, such as Calafiori, such as Timber, right? The tempo and the rhythm that these players are at, you can't match that on the training field. You can't match that in practice. Sure, you can prepare as much as possible, but nothing can really simulate the game state, the actual match. And for Lewis Skelly, whose minutes have been, I guess they've been a drop in the ocean compared to last season and compared to Calafiori's, when you come in, any sign of, what's the word I'm looking for? Would you want to call it a lack of match sharpness, or do you want to call it rustiness? I don't quite know the correct word, but anything like that at this level, it's got to be exposed. The margins are so fine, especially against such fantastic teams. And maybe we just got to be a bit gracious towards Lewis Skelly. He's not going to necessarily come in and play at the level he was last season, because last season, due to necessity, due to the injuries, he was playing 2-3 times a week and he was maintaining that rhythm. This time, he's not. And so we just kind of have to make peace with that. That sometimes performance. So when we reflect on Lewis Skelly's performance, please look at it through that lens. I think he deserves a bit more grace than perhaps some of the initial reactions may be. But look, there's no doubt, though, that we improved when the substitutes came on. So we shifted Madueke to the right, Bukayo came off, we had Calafiori make an immediate impact, and we scored that goal that we absolutely deserved. And then from there, what was really important is that Arsenal don't do anything silly at the other end, that we don't concede a goal, an equaliser out of nowhere. We had that foot on the throat mentality. And it was great that we could sustain that pressure. And it was led once again by Declan Rice, that midfield powerhouse. We could just see, you could see the energy this man has, the way he was rousing the team up. I think he wore the captain's armband as well, in between Bukayo's substitution and Odegaard coming on. We have leaders across the pitch, of course. It's not just always about one person, but you could just see that so much of the energy, the enthusiasm, the momentum was really coming from the midfield. Zubimendi too was just outstanding, as he always is. Like he like Timber, they're just consistently excellent. This is the level now of Arsenal. Like you just know what you're going to get from the players of this caliber. We just know, and they've just proven it. They've proven it match by match. It's just that's just who they are. And it's fantastic. Soon after that, what happens? Yeah, Bayern had a breakaway, bit of a tame shot in the end. Raya easily saved. I've already touched on a few moments that we had, that we were mounting the pressure, that Neuer's kept us out a few times. I will just make one passing comment about the referee. I just think not every contact needs to be a foul. I just think this is the difference between the European referees and the Premier League referees, that there's any sort of physical contact and someone goes down, there's a tendency to blow the whistle, and you can see some frustration mounting from Arsenal in some of these challenges. A few yellow cards, which is, I think Saliba got one because he didn't get out of the way in time from a free kick. And yeah, look, I've got to say, the Marino free kick, the Marino yellow card, that was there. There's not too many protests about that one. That was absolutely there. That was late. But a few times that, Bukayo was brought down a number of times by players, and I was thinking to myself that, come on, surely that's a yellow card in the grand scheme of things. But it is what it is. There wasn't anything too overly contentious, thankfully, and I don't really like talking too much about referees. It does my head in. So what Arsenal have done lately is that we've taken away the noise from that. We've taken away the distraction of the officiating stuff and even having Michael Oliver on the weekend against Spurs, it was a non-event. It wasn't even a thing. It could have been anyone officiating that match, and the result would have been the same because we've just taken these distractions off the table and we've just focused on what we need to do, and we're just going out there and getting the job done. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So Arsenal, soon after that, there was a moment of madness from Neuer. So I really do think, as much as you can say that he shouldn't have charged out or whatnot, I do think some of that comes down to pressure. I think Arsenal were consistently playing in Bayern's final third, and they couldn't get out. They really couldn't get out and play and string together passes much in our half. So maybe Neuer had a moment of panic, even for all his experience as a wonderful goalkeeper and a career as he has and continues to be. Everyone's human. Everyone's acceptable. And Arsenal breaking the ball away and playing that long pass, he had a moment of madness. And I think it's brought on by the game state, but by the pressure. I don't think he would have done that in any other situation. But again, it's one thing to actually capitalize. So Martinelli, fresh on as a sub, great to see him back. And what a luxury it is to bring him on in matches like this, because he sprinted past him, got around him, and I was off the couch. This time I just knew, and he's buried it 3-1 and that game over. That was brilliant to see. And we deserved it. We absolutely deserved that goal. I believe that's 4 consecutive Champions League matches Martinelli is scoring. Wow. He's just quietly getting stuff done as well. Great to see him back after a month off. And boy, we're going to need them. We're going to need all of them. It looks like, again, I don't know the severity of Trossard's injury. Maybe we all won't know for a little while until there's some scans or some more knowledge known about his severity. It's going to be, Martinelli and Madueke, they're going to have a role to play at Stamford Bridge this weekend. One of them will start and one of them will come on as a sub. This is the level now. The opportunities are going to be there. You need players back and fresh and available, and they're putting their hands up, and it's fantastic. Got to keep an eye on some players, though. Reno's playing a lot of football as well, so hopefully Jurrien can get back into the squad, or Havertz not too soon after. Jesus is on the horizon. So this is great. We need the additions. We need the strengthening of the bench, because we know that we are going to still need all these players are going to have their time. They're all going to have the opportunity, because this is too much football to rely upon too few. And we must protect and manage the minutes of players who are playing a lot of football lately, such as Rice, such as Timber, Saka as well. I mentioned Reno. You've got to manage them and protect them, because it's one thing to do it now in November, but we want these guys doing it in March, April, and May as well. So, look, it's just a great time to be an Arsenal fan. I'm going to sign off on that note. A fantastic win, a deserved win, 3-1 to Arsenal. It should have been more. Please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know how you feel. Any comments? Where did you watch the match? Any feedback for me? Any questions? I read every word. Thank you. And if you're watching on audio, please follow the show. Leave me a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. It really does help the visibility and engagement of my podcast. And thank you once again for listening, for tuning in, your ongoing support. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this match as much as I did. I'm going to go back up and watch the highlights again soon. So thank you so much. Look after yourselves. I'll be back on after the Chelsea match to hopefully talk about another outstanding Arsenal performance. Until then, I'll speak to you all soon. Check in with your loved ones, and come on, Arsenal.